Perfect. All right, so we'll start. We have 17 people here, which is good. I think it's still 20 opinions. All right, so we stopped at question 7, which is okay. I'm just okay. We didn't specify that one. Okay, I think we stopped on that one. Okay, so let's start. I'm just getting in this niche and just have one chiro I'm currently working with, and she's been great. I can foresee a problem with her being that she really needs to restructure her pricing and create some better plans to make her return on investment higher. I've seen something similar by talking to multiple people where certain chiropractors, they would not want to offer any special deals. They think it devalues their practice. And anybody wants to give their take on that before we mention anything? Okay, Stephanie.
I'm so sorry. Did I miss something? Are you?
It says Stephanie. Oh, I'm looked at the QA.
Oh yeah, I just.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so QA is separate. Okay, because Stephanie would like to answer this question live.
Yeah, they had already been answered, so I just marked them as answered in live.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm ignoring QA for now. Right, I don't see anybody give any take on this one. So I'll initiate, guys, and feel free to jump in. And again, I'm not the one who knows all the answers, right? So I strongly believe that it's our job to convince and show chiropractors that the true value of a customer not in the front end, it's actually in the back end. So they know their practice. They know what type of symptoms could possibly produce how much business. So it's in their interest actually to work with us and understand that in order to bring, this is not for everybody, this is for a new patient only. So they should be willing to be open to give away something on the front end to allow a new patient to come in, so then they can get them signed up, treat them, and ultimately regain everything that they lost in the first session and collect much more over time while that patient is their customer. Okay. Okay, let me make somebody live here. Keep promote the panel. Oops, wrong person, unmute. Okay, Kip, you wanna jump in?
No, I'm good. I'm listening right now. I was just trying to send a message to Stephanie. I didn't know how to do that, but
oh, okay.
Yes, I guess it went to everybody, but
yeah,
there I am. Hi. I can see me now. I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, we can. All right, then I'm muting you back and see if somebody else wants to respond to that, add additional. No. Okay, Brian. I'll let Brian say something. Okay, Brian. Unmute. Brian, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I say, what made you pick me? What did I do wrong?
Say it again. Sorry.
I said, what made you pick me? What did I do wrong?
What makes you think?
Well, what made you choose to unmute me?
Oh, you. Well, it says here. I
It's
think.
okay. It's okay. That's all right. I just thought maybe there was a reason that you picked.
Oh, no, I look at comments. If anybody puts comments, instead of just sharing a comment, I thought you would want to express it. If you guys just want to say it in a comment, that's okay too. Maybe like I don't know, let's come up with something where I would know that you want to speak versus just typing it to the group. So then I
There's a raised
don't want to
hand.
put anybody on the spot.
No, there's a raised hand. I think see on my screen when I see a raised hand, so maybe a person can raise their hand if they have something they want to say. In reference to what you're asking, I guess, from the doctors that we've dealt with or just talked to, and even prospecting and have worked with, nothing to do with Facebook ads even in the past, is there's a fair share of them that work on new patients only. In other words, come in when you have pain. So they come in for 2, 3, 4 treatments, and then they don't see them for a year or something. And then there's those, especially the newer, younger ones that have been developed under the wellness package programs. So they, Jerry, would be better to chime in probably to some extent, but those that sell the 800, 1500, whatever, and then you have people like John Nesbitt who are selling the integrated offices, which theirs are 5,000 because they're integrating the medical side of it in there. So I kind of always sometimes think of the Billie Jean's video aspect, and there's a lot of the doctors that really aren't up to speed in that, but I find that trying to weed through in some cases when we're talking to them is to find out, they're accepting new patients, but then do they even offer a wellness package of any type? Because if the LTV, the value is only, a couple $100, then I'm going to have to send them an awful lot of patients for the math to make sense. Because they're, but if they have, $1,500 wellness package and I can give them 10 new patients that sign up for their wellness package, then they did 15 grand. And they can see spending $1,500 with me. But if those same 10 are only worth $200, then they're not, they're going to make $2 grand, spend $1,500 with me, and I'll see where that's going to, their relationship is going to come to a dead end, in my opinion. But I guess those would be a couple of my 2 cents.
So we need to qualify them to see if they do have it, or at least they would be open to come up with some kind of package to make it worthwhile for everybody.
Yeah, because I just maybe in certain market areas too. Because Stephanie has a teaching engagement, or she's teaching at the Florida Chiropractic Association conference here in a couple weeks. I've been calling and working in the Florida market area and kind of calling it, even utilizing it as a case study aspect for the conference. And I don't know how many states do it, they're big into, everybody's big into, and some of them just specialize only into car wreck or injury and DOT stuff. And so I'm just kind of finding it kind of started haunting me a little bit more as to how many of them that, one, we don't have much that drives injury, and their injury stuff is kind of driven by the insurance side of things, see? So the insurance is not a wellness package. That's not, that's 3-5 visit type thing. So even though it's covered by insurance, it's not, a lot of times the doctors aren't even promoting any kind of a long-term program. They're constantly looking, and I realize it's like, okay, if we can whip or figure out how to do some kind of a car accident or find a Facebook way to, target them and get leads from it, guy could do probably pretty well, because that's a constant. They're all competing for that, area there. But it's like I'm really surprised about the traditional chiropractic that we're marketing on. Many of them in Florida don't do that. It's like, oh, we focus on injury and stuff that's insurance driven, and the insurance companies don't. They pay for only a limited amount of treatments.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of gray area there too. You have to be careful because you have to, as to your type of ads and what disclaimers you have to put on in there too. That the doctor doesn't end up, getting a hefty $50,000 fine or something.
Yeah, Brian.
Okay.
Something with your audio. I do hear you, but a lot of people cannot understand what you're saying. They suggest that maybe you should also. Instead, you should type it in a window.
Okay.
Something with the audio, but for sure, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Stephanie, I will see, right, if somebody raises a hand, because right now I don't see any hands. Do I assume nobody's, or there is somebody? Okay,
Yeah, you definitely should see somebody, and you should see something pop up, a little bitty hand.
Let's see, Amber wants to say something. Okay, Amber, can you hear me?
I can. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Also, though, I was going to tell you, go ahead and remove Brian, because it'll bog down like how the whole thing works. If you have more than the more you have, the harder it gets to keep it running smoothly.
Okay, done. Okay, Amber, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to put in my 2 cents on what I'm doing for this particular situation. Forgive me if I'm repeating something. I'm in and out on calls. I've got a couple of calls. But one thing that I'm finding that I'm just going to do is just be prepared to make content to kind of pre-educate and pre-qualify these guys, especially when it comes to like better pricing plans and stuff like that. Maybe that's where we can position ourselves more as a consultant, like a customer acquisition and retention consultant, kind of thing, for those guys that don't have those care packages. Because I was able to make out what he was saying, like, if they don't have some kind of package in place, it's not going to be worth it for them anyway. So that's kind of been the strategy that I've been kind of using. I might not be the best person because I don't have a bunch of clients, but at the same time, I feel like the clients that I do get, they'll be worth working with and not giving me a headache. So that was just like my 2 cents of what my approach is going to continue to be.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Perfect. Anybody else? All right. So the summary is we should also do our homework, see where they are. It's not just them qualifying us, it's also us qualifying them. If we're willing to work with them, and if they're also willing to work with us to put together something that would make sense as a package, move forward. If not, we move on.
I was going to let you know that whenever you demote Amber, make sure just to select the one where it says put down to viewers, what it says, something similar to that, because the Kip and what was it, Brian, they got kicked all the way out of the meeting itself.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So
it's okay, totally okay.
I thought it would just remove them from the main list. Okay, so what do I press to remove Amber now, not to kick her out?
I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says something about promoting her to viewer or putting her into viewer mode.
I have unmute, I have chat, ask to start video, and make host, change role to viewer.
Yes, there you go, change role to viewer, that's it.
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to.
No problem. It's your first time using this. It's very complicated if you haven't used it before.
Ouch. Sorry. Wow. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm going to question 8. And this one, the user said, my agency has a fantastic chiro client. We're doing a blogging and social campaign. My challenge for the call, since she's already a client, what are some things I can do to prepare for a meeting with her where I will present this opportunity with an objective to help define an offer with her? Well, based on what we said so far, especially in the last couple of questions, I think this was more or less answered.
Can I say something on that one real quick?
Sure.
I think I've actually talked to a couple of different people, and something, since you already have her as a blogging and social campaign, like managing their social media, one thing you might be careful of is literally 2 or 3 of my chiropractors have dropped their other social media and blogging companies because I'm the one delivering the leads. And so they didn't really care. They were just going to have their front office staff post on the social media. And as long as they're getting the leads, they didn't care. So I was just going to warn you that you could potentially lose a client in the other aspect once they start seeing the leads coming in, because they're going to be so happy about the leads that they may not see much value in the blogging and social media, even though there is value. Most of the chiropractors I work with, they care about results. And once they see those leads coming in, and they're usually 4 to 5 to 6 times as much as many leads that they were getting through social media marketing and blogging. So just caution on that. You might actually talk yourself or work yourself out of a blogging and social media client.
Good point. But also maybe, again, this is just a thought, if you don't want to lose them as a client on that on that end, because it's a totally different purpose. One is more of a branding, right? Advertising, like if they want to be known or whatever they want to put focus on. If the idea of both would be sold to them, they might consider having both of those running. Anybody wants to add to that? Okay, moving to the next one. Question 9, if the chiropractor don't know their metrics because they're really heavily on referrals, how do we help them get a win on our trial run? Anyone wants to raise their hands, volunteer?
I can chime in on that one real quick.
Sure.
I mean, if I'm understanding the question correctly, I mean, you're going to provide them with the leads and you'll have an actual list. So they're going to see the people and then be able to compare it to their new patient list and be able to see exactly what the ROI is. So even if they're not keeping good metrics, if they, every patient has to sign up some way, shape, or form. So you'll always be able to prove who you brought through the door.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? So I would also go into that video that Jerry posted. It's a really good thing to look at and to understand the whole picture. So help them to put a system in place and actually figure out what the numbers are. All right, I don't see any hands. I'm going to question 10. How do you work around chiropractors who don't offer low-cost visits? I mentioned that earlier. Certain chiropractors don't believe, for whatever reason, they don't believe in giving a deal because they think it lowers the value. And we talked about the back end, front end. Anybody wants to participate in this question? Or it's clear? So what do you do with those that don't want to do it? How do you go around it? Okay, Tracy. Promote the panel. Unmute.
Hey, hello everybody again.
Hi Tracy.
Okay, so with my chiropractor, what I did, his offer was horrible, right? And so he really wanted to run his offer, and so I told him, I said, well, you know what? I said, I can run your offer for the first $30. Because remember, Billie Jean says if it's at $30, you can tell if the ad is going to work. So I just said, well, we'll run your offer for the first $30. If we're not seeing any results from it, then we need to change it. And I do suggest that you do, either $29 for including the adjustment, or the $19 one. And if he agreed to that, but if he would not have agreed to it, then I would not have worked with him, because then you wouldn't have real success, and that looks bad on you. But he did agree, and so when $30 came and we didn't get any leads, I went back to him and I said, okay, we're at $30. I paused the campaign. No one is responding to this offer. Do you want to try the $29 with the adjustment? And he said, no, let's do the $19 with the adjustment. So he was open, and we did it. And so we started getting leads. So, just be selective. If they don't want to do it and don't want to budge, then maybe you don't want to work with that person.
Interesting. I had something similar going on and still going on, but not with the chiro, but it would relate still. It's with the dentist. Because they don't want to lower their price, they want to run an offer that would charge for the whole root canal. So the offer would be over $2,000. And the conversation was going back and forth that who in the world are you going to convince to come in and spend over $2,000 as a new patient without even knowing you? So in this case, I like what Tracy said. You give it a try, run, see no response. It would be shown proof that the market is not responding. Try something else, something lower.
And you know what? In Jerry's video, because I watched his video like 10 times and was taking notes and pausing and going back. So according to Jerry, chiropractors, they don't want to give away adjustments. So when we're initially presenting this to them, it sounds like they're giving an adjustment away, right? So the way I worded it with my chiropractors, I was like, look, I know you guys don't want to give an adjustment away, but we're not giving it away. You're giving your other services away, and you're going to discount your adjustment. And then you're going to upsell that client when they come into your office, right? And he said, yeah, that's true. And then he went for it. So
nice. Perfect. Thank you, Tracy. Anybody else?
You're welcome.
I'm not going to kick you out. I'll just change the role. Okay, I don't see any hands. All right, I'm going to the next one. Question 11. My client is involved in more of an accident clinic. They do chiropractic treatments there also. So what the campaign would work for medical offices? I had multiple people actually asking me something similar. They not in a chiro only clinic. There's other services also involved. And there were also, in some cases, there were some kind of limitations of what could be offered and could not. Anybody wants to give their take on this one? Did anybody run any campaigns that, okay, here's a hand. Let's see. Tracy.
Okay. Yes, I think that you can really try whatever. Like I would ask the chiropractor, what maybe they don't need any new chiropractic patients. Okay, well, what services do you need to boost more in your office? And if you can find that out, like for my chiropractor, we're going to end up doing a campaign for massages later. Because he wants to bring in more massage clients for his massage therapist. We're also going to end up doing a campaign for pain management treatment, whatever that is. So, but of course, starting with one campaign each, I think that it's just important to find out what the services are and where they most need to increase their revenue. And if chiropractic is going to be easier just to bring a patient in the door, then do that and then sell them on the other products.
So basically, be open for other offers, not necessarily coming from the angle of a chiropractor.
Yeah, definitely, because then that will give you, more experience within a different type of, quote unquote niche, and then it'll just allow you to add value. So when you go to the next chiropractor office that offers more services for people, you can say, hey, we can also run these different campaigns as well.
Perfect. I like that. All right. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm unmuting SPAC. Stephanie? I assume it's Stephanie.
Yeah, it was like right after. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but kind of low. If you
Okay.
can.
It was weird because like I just got booted off right when you were, so it was rejoining me. Sorry. The one thing I was going to mention is that each state is a little bit different on the medical side. For instance, like in Florida right now, especially with the personal injury, they have very specific wording that you have to use if you're going to run those particular campaigns. Now, the doctors should be very much aware of that, and they should be able to provide that with you. Like in Kentucky, there was specific verbiage that we had to put on the landing page. In Illinois, they're a little more open, but there's still some specific verbiage that has to be used on there. The doctor should know it. If they don't, at least cover yourself by asking about it. And with some of the accident claims and personal injury, they can't discount, because then their claims will get denied if they sign those people up on on insurance going forward. Same with Medicare. Any federally funded patient, that's a federal law that they cannot discount anyone who is a federal funded patient, which includes your Medicare, Medicaid. So just, like I said, these doctors should know this stuff, but you should know it too, just to bring it up to them and ask them what type of verbiage needs to be put or added to the ad or on the landing page.
Okay. Good. So on both landing page and the ad.
Yeah, in some cases. Now, in some states, they don't need it on the ad. They only need it on the landing page. But we put it on the landing page, on the thank you page, and in the emails as a disclaimer whenever they give us that content.
How many they on the ad? Yeah, it probably would be rare. Plus, most of them would probably never see their own ads.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
it's not the doctor. I mean, the doctor will ultimately get in trouble if they get caught using specific language. So you just have to ask for it. Just ask for it, then you're covered.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
All right, so going to the next one, since I don't see any hands. Question 12, how to get people to come to a chiro seminar or evening event? What is offered? I've seen this question in different from different angles, but more or less that's the question. What is it really offered on that event, and how it's introduced to potential patients? Did anyone do or was involved in seminars? Okay.
I could chime in just a little bit if someone hasn't raised their hand yet.
Yeah, there is Amber actually.
Okay, go for it.
Responded. Okay, Amber.
Hey, I literally have a few minutes, but I wanted to chime in on what I've been doing to get people to show up. I've actually done the dinner campaigns multiple times, and I can just share with you guys some of my stats of what I've seen to happen. Is pretty much what I do on the back end is they get a text message and an email right after they sign up. And then I do a 3-day reminder, a 1-day reminder, a day of reminder, and an hour before reminder. So they're getting a total of 4 emails at least and 2 text messages. The second text message I send the day of. And when I do that, I've averaged anywhere from like a 1/3 up to like a 40% show rate. So like I said, specifically my last one that I ran, it was 35 leads that I generated. 12 of them showed up. And then of the 12, they got 9 initial appointments for their discounted. So what they do is they offer a discounted first visit, which is typically what they average. They would initially offer anyway from Facebook. So like a 50% off or like a, you know, $20, $30, $40 first visit. That's what I've seen number wise to get people to show up. And to me, I don't have anything to compare this to. But I would think that, I mean, I was kind of preparing them expectation wise for a fourth of the people to show up. So that's kind of just what I've seen. I've run it twice and the numbers ran the same. One was about a third of the people and the other one was like closer to 40% that actually showed. So
Nice results, I believe.
yes. And oh yeah, and also video makes a huge difference. If you can get them to do a welcome video, like holding the phone and just say, hey, this is so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, I really look forward to seeing you on this day. Be sure to come 15 minutes early so that way we can get your order taken. It makes it more realistic to them. So I saw someone asked about the results. That's what I'm pulling teeth to get. This is what I was saying, like, no one has been telling me if they're converting to full care plans. They're coming in for their initial visit, but they're questioning the quality of the leads that are coming in because I don't know, like one person said that they couldn't convert any to a care plan. And another person said that they haven't gotten back with me. And this was about 2 weeks ago. And it takes about a week and a half anyway for them to do their process to close into an actual care plan. So that's the frustrating thing for me. So if anyone has anything to say to that, I know I'm not the only one running these campaigns on Facebook and these chiropractors that are closing it. So I don't know if it's me or if it's them. I'm starting to think it's them because I'm delivering the leads and they're getting the initial visits even. So that's my 2 cents.
Amber, a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
How detailed are you in your ads and landing page in terms of what would be on that event, or it's just dinner?
They know that they're coming for a health talk. So
There's no topic. Do they know the topic?
So they know that okay. So the chiropractors I work with, they're kind of like anything. So I name off a few things, like in the ad, I name off like anxiety, migraines. I'll name a couple of things. It's very similar to the template we already have, except instead of using the $19 offer, I just change it up to join Dr. So-and-so as they share how many people are like treating, I don't use the word treat. I'm very specific in my wording. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But pretty much learn how to handle these XYZ, without medication. So they know that they're coming in for a health talk about specific, how to treat specific conditions.
Mm-hmm. And second question is, the doctors, the assumption is they should be comfortable talking to a crowd.
Right.
And with the offer and all this, the closing at the end of the event. So is this something that they tell you, I want to run a dinner workshop, or you suggest?
I target those that I already know are running them because most of them that are running them, they're not getting a lot of people anyway to show up. And here's one thing that I've noticed, just if you guys happen to talk to anyone, a lot of times to fill up their dinners, they are leveraging their current patients and they're saying, hey, can you bring a guest, which this is good for them. But at the same time, if they repeatedly do that to their patients get burned out and don't want to refer anymore. Yeah. So that's kind of been a pain point that I will bring up to them, because a lot of people, they'll say, oh, my dinners, they're not consistent. I'll do good for 1 or 2 months, and then for like the next 3 months, they're burnt out. So that's one of the things that I mentioned too, to help alleviate that. Or they do like these booths where, you know, they go out to events and they're generating leads this way. But my other chiropractor, I filled up their dinner, and they didn't have to go do anything. You know, they paid me for the ad spend and people showed up. So that's kind of another way that I leverage it, is saying, look, you can continue to do what you're doing, but, you know, how nice is it that you could just show up to an event and you didn't have to do anything extra?
Amber, you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's just me. That's me. Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
Okay.
It was just me.
Everyone says they can hear me fine. I have about a couple more minutes. Then I'm late for a call. But someone asked, what do I use for reminders? It's techie. I'm a tech nerd. I'm using ActiveCampaign. But because ActiveCampaign, you can automate a lot of things. And you can also do text messages. With ActiveCampaign, to send text messages, it's $50 a month. But I have a way around it where I get the $9 a month plan. And then I integrate Call Loop, because Call Loop, you can just pay for like, 500 text messages for like $20. Mm-hmm. So maybe I can do a video or something on how I'm doing. It literally took me like 3 days to figure out how to get that done. And then someone asked, I am not at all involved with booking the dinner, or I don't do anything. All I do is get them the leads. It's up to them to call. I tell them to call to confirm right away, and then I tell them to call the day of, or at least the day before or the day of, to confirm.
Yes, perfect. So also just use that. Somebody was asking how to approach a chiro. I think this is actually great. If you know that chiro is doing dinner workshops, instead of trying to just be as everyone else, let me bring you new patients, actually go in and mention something about the dinner. I can bring you people for your dinner.
Right. And one more thing that I run into, and maybe you guys can give me some ideas on this, is they're hesitant to pay a full, so when I quote them like 1,000 or 1,500 with the dinner campaign, they're hesitant about that because they're already having to pay for the dinner as well. So, which is an additional $300 to $500 for them. So just be prepared for that objection. I've done some for free, and I have not been able to convert them on that higher cost. So what I'm going to try doing is really, I only run the campaign technically for about 3 days. And then the follow-up sequence is automated. So I'm thinking of coming up with like a starter type package where I charge them $500 or $700. I'm not losing out on any money because I'm still getting, $250 or $300 for 3 days worth of monitoring. I'm going to try that out. So feel free to prepare for that objection. Is they're already paying for the dinner too. So I'm open to suggestions on that too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Amber. If anybody wants to speak up, yeah, we do. Hold on. We have Tracy. Unmute.
Okay. Hi again, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Amber, for the dinner campaigns, because that was really good. But as far as like the pay, I just posted in the chat. So if you guys want to copy it and watch it later, but my testimony from my doctor who I'm working with now, whose average lifetime value of his clients is only $1,000. And, it's for payment. Like, I don't start a campaign. Like, I'm not going to start a campaign for anyone first without telling them how much my fee is. And so, because if they are going to be hesitant about paying your fee, then they probably won't pay you after the campaign, after the trial period is up. So, you know, I make that known up front. So if they think it's too much, you know, I am willing to negotiate a little bit. But if they think it's too much, then, you know, you probably don't want to work with that person, because they'll allow you to do the free campaign for them, and then you won't hear from them again. And then also, if you guys, when you get a chance, look at that video, my client, he told me, he said, you know what, I've spent $5,000, even $10,000 a month just recently. Like even before he did this video for me, he told me what he was spending per month, $5,000 to $10,000 per month on advertising, on SEO, and nothing works. Nobody's getting him leads. And so he just recently fired, you know, this last company or whoever he was working with. And so it's like, you know what, these doctors, they can afford it. Okay. They can afford it. And if they want your business, they'll pay it. So don't dummy yourself down. Like even if, you know, even if this is your first chiropractor, like this is my first chiropractor that I'm working with, and I still position myself as the expert, because you know what? I need to make money, and I'm in this to making money. And then I know, you know, with the techniques and things that Billy has given us, and with, you know, all of the things that everyone else share with us, we're going to get them results. So don't dummy yourself down. Don't, you know, devalue yourself. Know your value, whatever your price is. You know, tell them in the beginning, get your money, because they are used to spending a lot of money on marketing and advertising. And yes, we understand your skepticism, and which is why I'm giving you a free trial. Okay. But after this trial and I've proven to you, then you need to be paying me. All right. So
Perfect.
that's that.
Stand your ground with the experts. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, anybody else? Going to the next question. What about allergy-focused campaigns? Has anyone done one? If yes, can you share your experience? Did anyone do anything with allergies?
I can't raise my hand, so I'm just going to chime in real quick. I have a campaign I'm fixing to run, and the way that we are doing it is basically they're saying you can come in for a free allergy consult and download a free allergy guide. So we know how much Billie Jean loves consult, but we could not figure out a better way to frame it. And he says, and he does a ton of radio advertising. And he says that people respond to that. So he says his target customer understands the value of an allergy consult. I'm not sold on that yet. So we're going to be running the ad, and he agrees that if it doesn't go over well, he'll let me have, you know, let me say, okay, we need to get rid of the consult. We need to figure out something else. But everything is free. And because they make big money and they can charge it to the insurance for these allergy shots, and they've got some amazing testimonials. So I created an ad for them, and it's actually just a customer testimonial of this mother. And she, you know, she grew up with seasonal allergies, and they started treating her. Now she can go and walk with her kids and doesn't have to worry if she sees pollen going to the ground. And she is over the top happy, and there's my 3-year-old. So that's what we're doing. As soon as I actually run the campaign, I'm still waiting on the guide.
Nice.
It's raining outside. Okay, sorry, I'll mute myself.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie. Anybody else? Okay, people say they like it. All right, I'm going to the next question. 14, can anyone share experience with ad content conversions for new symptom campaigns which are working? So we just heard one, the allergy symptom, right? Anybody else wants to share? Has anyone done a migraine that is working?
I did a migraine that didn't work. Got no conversions. Well, I did, but it just wasn't worth it. It was no good. My chiropractor's great at making videos, and he made a great video on migraines, even made a follow-up email series, and we had little to no opt-ins. Even though we had a lot of views, just no opt-ins.
That's weird, because by talking to, I don't remember who exactly, Even watching, I think, an interview with Billie Jean, the top two will always praise the dinner workshops and the migraine campaigns. My career wants to run that. We're looking one. Thanks for saying me. Thanks for saying. Well, I don't know. It depends. Stephanie, wouldn't you think that it depends what the details of the offer? I mean, people have a migraine pain, so they can just not respond. What was offered?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely people out there suffering from migraines, but for whatever reason, it wasn't worth them enough to opt in. And I'm trying to pull it up right now, but to see, because it's been a little bit since I did that. I was going to look at my numbers. Hold on a second. But yeah, I was shocked because, I mean, there seemed to be a lot of interest. We even did one where someone, where he tried to stage and tell a story about about someone who had migraines, and that didn't work either. Let me look here. No, it's not really showing me anything. Yeah, so
the video was on a landing page or on in the ad?
It was on the landing page, and we had a video ad as well.
So people would visit, but not opt in.
Yeah, it's like they'd listen to the story, but it just wasn't enough for them to follow through and opt in. And we were going to rework it, but we just haven't yet because he's getting so much success that it's kind of hard to get him to do anything else. He just told me that, you know, he used to be really happy to get 45 new patients a month, and they just broke a record last week for 45 patients in a week, brand new patients in a week. And so, you know, whenever you're upping your business that much, he's, you know, having a hard time balancing, and he doesn't necessarily have a whole bunch of time to play around now than to play around and try to figure out what works. But I mean, we eventually will. He's got a lot of great ideas, and so do I. So we're kind of collaborating. And I'll let y'all know if we ever find a migraine campaign that works. Anybody else have one that works?
Well, we'll be on the lookout. Nobody's, well, that's what I gotta go back into my notes and see where did I hear about the migraine campaigns, that they're so good. I also assumed that it would be so good because somebody's in real pain. Okay, somebody's asking here. Okay, let's see what people ask here. Good to know. Okay, Stephanie, I'm using $19 campaigns to get those results. Stephanie, still on? You see the people in chat asking?
Yeah, sorry, I was typing it up for him. So I did a $21 offer with him, and it's a consult, exam, x-rays, doctor's report of findings, first adjustment, plus 15 minutes in the hydro bed massage. And then my incentive offer on the thank you page is they get 3 more hydro massages. So I think people really love massage. So a lot of the chiropractors that I'm working with have like all these different like machinery that does massage. One's got a vibrocuster. I still can't even say it right. I don't even know what it does or what it looks like, but some little machine, and he gives you this massage. But I swear people just go like deer in the headlights as soon as they hear massage, and they're like, sign me up, because I'm one of those people. So I think massage, if your chiropractor has something that does something like that and you can throw massage into your offer, I think that I call it the cherry on top. So if you can get that, I would recommend always trying to throw the word massage around in there somewhere. I have one that has an in-house massage therapist, and he's going to do a 10-minute chair massage for whoever signs up for the new patient special. And, you know, of course, that's totally worth it for him to pay that from the chiropractor, and he just rolls it into the cost of the lead, and he's super happy.
Perfect. I also went to one of those because doctor's not involved. So what do they care? They would put the person in the room, let them be there for 15 minutes. At least they get a new patient. Okay, I'm moving to the next one. Anybody else wants to say anything on this? Okay, moving forward. Biggest challenge is getting people to convert. I get good response on Facebook ad, but getting few conversions. Example, in the last 30 days, there were 421 clicks to the landing page, 13 opt-ins, for which is a 3% conversion rate, right? So uh, I've looked at the pages and the ad. I do have something to say about it. I know we didn't see, I mean, not everybody here saw those, do not know what I'm talking about without specifics, but from what I saw, basically, the ads are good, but the challenge there, the ad says one thing, like there were 3 different ads pointing to the same landing page, from what I understand, if I understood it correctly, based on the pictures were provided. So the messaging changed, and then also the colors, they were all like red. I think that also needs to be tested. And I mean, the biggest issue was that the messaging changes. We get such a good response usually on the ad. You get so many visitors coming, and almost such a low conversion rate just for to opt-in. Something is going on the landing page, and that person actually had some suggestions, and he wanted to implement those before he would share with the group. So if any other possible things person should look into from what I said, feel free to jump in and add. But the main one was the messaging has to be exact of what was offered.
Would it be convenient or possible for you to post a link so that we could maybe pull it up and look at it?
Yeah, that I asked that person if I could. He asked me to hold on, so I said, fine, I'll post your, because he did get a response from Billie Jean's team, and he was in the process of making those adjustments. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about what exactly those adjustments were, but yeah, usually, I mean, though that's the case. I'm sure we will see it, but probably after this call. What happened to the leads? Did doctor follow up on them? Well, that I didn't get a chance to talk to. Also, we were supposed to have a call and discuss it, but we never got to it. Okay, anybody else wants to add on this? I know it's not enough information. Wants to add on this? I know it's not enough information. Kind of vague. All right, I'm moving forward. Okay, I'm battling with the low quality score in my Cairo ads, which drives my cost right up. What is the best targeting to get potential patients for cheapest cost per click? That's what Tracy talked about earlier with targeting. I also personally, when I ran ads, I noticed something. I'm running a test right now to see if that's the case. Because the budget was kind of unlimited initially, I used the accelerated option. And the first couple of weeks, I was getting a lot of leads, but then little by little, this click-through rate was getting lower and lower, and obviously, price per click started to escalate. What I did, I paused the campaigns, and because the budget was kind of low for that particular one, what I did, the daily budget, what I did is I removed from accelerated option to recommended by Facebook that they would spread out throughout the whole day. And that actually helped the conversion rate, and actually also helped with the click-through rate. The click-through rate became much better. I don't know if that's the reason. I need to run it for a few more days to see if it would be consistent. But just switching from accelerated to spread out, it actually improved the click-through rate for me. Anybody else has anything to suggest with this, besides obviously also changing the ad itself, replace the picture at least, because people become numb seeing the same ad over and over. Anybody? Somebody's asking what's accelerated. There is in the ad set settings, if you scroll all the way down, there's a delivery method, how fast your ads should be displayed on Facebook. If you have it on accelerated mode, you burn through your money much faster. So there is an option to for you to show your ads much faster. So first thing AM, your ads would start showing, or you can say spread it throughout the whole day. So your ads would not be shown to the same crowd. It would be spread out. So there's obviously a night crowd, morning crowd, lunch crowd, evening crowd. So because it's spread out, I noticed different response with clicks. So should I go to the next question? Anybody wants to add? Okay, going next. How much actual targeting is being done for ads? Or is it all broad? Seems like long-term success can be a challenge in some areas. Anybody wants to jump for this one? What are you guys thinking? I usually like to start very broad. I rather start with a lot of activity, and then if it's not what I expect, I try to narrow it down. But usually my approach always to start very broad. And also, if you start right away with all the rules in targeting, I tried that when I went right away after 55,000 and up in terms of income. By the time I was done with all the rules, Facebook decided that it was like $15 to $20 per click, which I was not excited to see. Obviously, I had to go back and just go broad. If you're broad, there's obviously cheaper clicks, and just because somebody cannot afford it, that's what my doctor said. I know I want everybody, yeah, it makes sense. I want everybody who has money. But a lot of times people in pain, so they don't care how much it costs. And maybe they have insurance, maybe they they have a good credit. I don't know, they will sign up for something where they go on a payment plan or something. So just because somebody cannot afford it, it doesn't mean they're not gonna move forward. I actually personally saw an example with a dentist. I was at his office while a consultant was talking to a new patient. She was trying to sell him the whole treatment that they were offering him. It was about $10,000 worth of work. And as she was talking to him, after all the discounts and everything, it came down to $6,000. And in order to get started, the first procedure was about $2,000. And she asked them, okay, if you have a good credit, we can sign up for care credit. There's a payment plan, you'll pay so much percentage. So obviously he agreed, everything went successful. And then she asked him, okay, so how do you want to put this first $2,000 in the care credit? Person says, nope, I'll pay cash. So, but forgot to say, before that, she asked him how much income do you make when he was signing up for care credit. He said he's making 24,000 a year. So here you go, person 24,000 a year signing up for care credit, pulls out $2,000 cash and pays for his first treatment. So when I saw that, it just proved the theory that start broad. You don't need to limit yourself. at least until you hear that people are not moving forward with treatments. Anybody there? Anybody wants to add something?
I'll jump in. I know for the second part of the question, it seems like long-term success can be a challenge in some areas. I don't know if they're talking about what I'm experiencing, but I know I'm running ads for clients, and towards the fourth week or so, I see a real dip in the response and the conversions. So what I'm having to do is do new videos and new creative basically for each month for each chiropractor, which is a lot of work. I know, actually, I asked Billie Jean and company, and they said that that's when you play with your targeting. So you use the same ad. If you've been targeting women, then you might target men. If you are targeting a certain age group, you might target a different age group. So, I mean, I haven't actually done that yet. I've just been asking them to give me another video. But there's some clients that I'm still onboarding right now, and it is like pulling teeth to get a video from them. Like, they are so nervous about it, so insecure on camera. So, but for me, I'm doing video ads for every single one of my clients, and I'm going to have to go out and see the one who's super insecure and still hasn't given me a video ad yet. I'm going to take the video myself because I just see such drastic results with video ads versus image ads. But it's going to be a long-term problem for me if that is the way I'm going to go, because for one, it's a lot of work. I edit all the videos myself. And then there's also the captioning you have to do if you want it to be successful. And there's just so much more work involved with that. And if I'm redoing that every 3 to 4 weeks without outsourcing that, it's a lot. So I think what I might be doing for long-term success is, just kind of alternating. Like, I might be having my chiropractors work on a download that would be relevant to their target audience. And then maybe the second month or the third month, we'll change it from a video to offering a free download on some topic. And then the next month, we might switch to an image ad. And then if we don't get good results, move it back to a video ad. And so I'm feeling that as far as it goes, because 1 to 2 opt-ins a day is not really, for some of the chiropractors that I'm servicing that have already been doing some marketing, 1 to 2 opt-ins a day is not that big of a deal. For some of them it's life-changing, but for some of them they're like, I can get 1 to 2 with this other company over here. So I want to be the one who doubles that, triples that, quadruples that. And so I have to keep that in mind for the long-term success. So I'm not for sure if that's exactly what it was talking about. As far as the second part, the first part, so far I've just been doing local, and I just do the current city. I don't even do the 10 miles out or 25 miles out because they were wanting specific cities. At least most of them were. They didn't want to go too far out. And then I'm split testing different age groups. I'm split testing on mobile and desktop. And then I'm also split testing interests. So sometimes the ones who are broad do way better, like where there's no interest specified. And then sometimes the ones with interest do better. So to me, I'm not really finding a consistent, I'm not finding something that, like, there's no formula from what I'm understanding, because each area is different and it's a different group of people, and I think they're going to respond differently. So you just have to continuously split test and find out what works best, and then, get creative once your ad has that ad fatigue.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Also, Stephanie, I guess it depends also who you're servicing, the chiro. If there's multiple offers they're running, you could also, instead of for sure the ads need to, I strongly believe in that too, the ad itself need to change the creative part, but also turning off certain offers. You run it for 1-2 weeks, take it down, let another offer run for 1-2 weeks, take it down, and keep on replacing them. Like in my case, there's a few offers. At first I had 5 offers, so I kind of was experiencing the same thing. And I was going to actually ask you, do you burn to the same amount of budget to produce those 2 leads a day, or you spend much less? because the ad fatigue, like in my case, like the cost per click started to go higher. So when I initially was producing at the $10-12 per lead, it went up to $20 per lead, $22 per lead. So that's when it came time to basically pause certain offers for some time and use something else, because people get used to it and they start to ignore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They definitely get used to it and start ignoring stuff. And I know, coming up with that creative, it's a pain, but I think it's just, I don't know, it was really, really fun. And I'm using $500 ad spend. You know what? I mean, all my clients start out with a minimum of $500 ad spend a month. And I have 2 or 3 clients that have upped that, and they're looking at $1,000 a month. But that, for one of them, I've got 2 separate ad campaigns running. And so we're just dividing it amongst those 2 ad campaigns. So there were some questions in there. What do you usually pay for the clients that are getting 1 to 2 opt-ins per day? Are you talking about the actual conversion rate? I'm getting around $5 to $6. Some of my ads that have been really, fatiguing out towards the end of the month, or on that 3rd or 4th week, it's getting up to $9 and $10 a conversion.
So doubled, almost doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Claire, my base is, it covers, my base for each client covers my initial ad, pixel installation, 5 drip email campaign, and a retargeting ad. But just to be straight with you, most of my clients are so new that they haven't even gotten to the 5 drip email campaign. Like, I just did a 5 drip email campaign for one of my very first chiropractors today. And I'm talking to him now about retargeting, because they don't really get motivated enough, because once the leads start coming in, they're just like really happy, and they don't necessarily want to start working with you for the other things. At least that's what I'm finding so far. So, so really it's a matter of, what are you willing to do? And I felt like I may have overshot with this deal. I don't know. But I feel like once I get a pattern, and, my Vicky over here who's laughing at me, Vicky, once she gets versed and she's trained in what I'm doing, I feel like we should be able to have processes in place that make this pretty simple, and have scripts and things written out. I made a video ad kit for my chiropractors that talks to them about positioning, lighting, angles, and it also has like a script inside of it for them to read out for if they're going to do the regular $21 offer, which I kind of have to talk them into. But so for that base amount, that's what I cover. That's what I offer them. But I'm not living that fully out. So I can't necessarily recommend that you do the same thing, because you all have to keep in mind, I started June 1st with my very first chiropractor, and he was my case study, and then it just grew from there. So I don't know what that's going to look like to be running these things for all these different chiropractors 6 months from now. But so far, it's been manageable. I'm not quite for sure. Billie Jean says that one of his account managers can run 40 different accounts. So I'm betting that these account managers aren't doing every single thing for that person. And I would love clarification from them on that, because I cannot imagine that one person would be doing everything that I'm doing for 40 different people. And I just can't even comprehend, especially with the email drip campaigns, plus I'm doing video editing. Like, I'm wondering, does someone on their team do video editing for them, So anyway, just stuff to think about.
Yeah, and when it's not in the same niche, for sure, I don't know how the person can really multitask like that.
Yeah, that would be insane. That's why I think it's so smart that he says to find that niche and stay in it and own it and then move out. I get bored easily, so I'm already like itching to go try some other things. But I can't do that because Billie Jean says not to. But staying in it, definitely, I mean, I can totally see the value in that, because it's a lot of work to set out the processes that I'm doing right now, and then training Vicky in everything that I know, and getting her familiar with our clients and what they're expecting and where they are. And it's so much work. And I can only imagine if there was a whole different framework in a different niche for what you're doing, even though it's, you know, the scaffolding is kind of the same.
It's still good. I don't know. I don't remember the quote exactly. I think it was Bruce Lee. He said, "I'm afraid of a person who does one kick really well versus all kinds of things not as well." So when you do something you're staying in one niche, you're becoming an expert in that niche, and you're using the experience over and over, and it's much faster to put something together and maintain and adjust. If you're all over the place, it's really hard to keep up with everything. It's just a setup. It's tempting. Even yesterday, I was so tempted to apply for, I was going to go for every single one. But then I said, you know what, step back. Professional services is where I am, dentist and chirurgist, nothing else. So got to go back and stay focused.
That's great.
All right, so going to the next. Thank you, Stephanie, by the way. You're really participating.
You're very welcome.
Okay, what do you do when your ad is experiencing ad fatigue?
That was my question that I submitted.
Well, you already kind of answered the potential things that you're doing. Do you recreate the ad every 3-4 weeks or just change targeting? Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. And again, testing, right?
Yeah, I was hoping that someone who's been at this longer than 2 months would be on and be like, yeah, so this is what you need to do when your ad starts doing this, and just kind of hear more ideas, because everything I've said, I'm just trying and coming up with, or whatever I can pull from Billie Jean and the company, just like, so what do you do? Oh yeah, you just, change up your targeting. Okay, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, but there's only so much you can do. It's all in targeting. You gotta see, you gotta expose it to a new set of people, or you gotta change your creative. There's only two things really. What else you can change?
Yeah, you're right.
They're not gonna tell you something that it's not there. But it would be, of course, good to hear what exactly change. But it's in those two things. I don't know, maybe somehow split the city into 2 parts.
Yeah. Well, I know that's actually kind of a fun idea to think about. Although I have 2 chiropractors that are butted up right next to each other, and they're actually friends. And there's a city right in the middle of them, and they wanted to be able to split the city. Like the one on the bottom got the bottom half, the one on the top got the top half. And thus far, I have not been able to figure out a way to do that in Facebook. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure we could do that. Like I imagined grabbing one city and like doing a radius out from the other city to kind of cover, but I've been unable because Facebook only allows a minimum of 10 miles. And then I don't know if there is a maximum. I've never tried any bigger than that because I haven't needed to. But if I could do 5 miles, it would work, because if I stretch it 10 miles or 20 miles, it goes too far south, and they don't want to get those people. They only want these certain people. So yeah, it's hard. I wish you could split a city in half, but as of yet, I don't know how. So if anybody else knows how to split a city in half, that would be great. Tracy says you can do 5 miles. How are you doing that, Tracy? Tell me, because I will put the city in and it says 10, and I type in 5 miles and it pops it out and makes me go back to 10 miles.
I don't do cities. I put the address. If you put the address of the place, you can say 5 miles.
There you go. The address of like the city, or?
No, the address of the practice itself. The clinic. The address of the clinic.
Yeah, yay, thank you. That's my golden nugget. That's awesome.
And also, do you target people who live in that area or visit that area? That's another thing to look at, because, for example, where I live, right, there's not a lot of work going on over here. So a lot of people drive to Orlando, or they go up north to Jacksonville. So sometimes you might want to target a different city, not people who live there, but they go there for work. So if your ads are running during the working hours, they might be looking at those ads and say, hey, something going on in my hometown. Or the other way around. If you're in a city where there's a lot of work going on, you might want to target people not just who lives there, maybe target them separately, people who live there and people who visits.
That's fantastic. That's really fantastic.
Yeah, somebody's telling you to do the same. Yeah, address and then centrally located and there.
Yeah, I have never done anything but the city, and that's it. Like, I've only ever typed in a city name. I've never done an address. That never crossed my mind to do.
Yeah. You know what's also interesting? My dentist, he lives in Palm Coast. Port Orange, maybe like 30, 40 miles away. He told me, and then again, I don't know why he thinks that way, but they also run promotions in Port Orange using Money Pages. It's a magazine. So they said we get really good response from Port Orange. So Port Orange, again, some people willing to drive 30 miles up north to see a dentist. So something to look into. I mean, if they did any outside of Facebook advertisement, certain areas, you might want to try something further away. That's how you don't have to change your creative. You can try, 10, 20 miles away. Small batch, see how the market will respond.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Again, it also depends because I live in Florida. It's not a big city, right? So it's not South Miami or anything like that. 10-mile drive, 20-mile drive, it's 20 minutes. People drive 70, 80 miles an hour. But if you like in New York City area, to drive from Brooklyn to Queens, people won't do that. 10 miles is a long distance in a big city. Mm-hmm. So that's something to also to consider.
Owner, whom I don't know who owner is, but they said Facebook says that I have clicks, but when I go to my ClickFunnels, it doesn't show any new visitors. Does anyone have any insight on this? I wish I could help you with that. I'm in ClickFunnels training right now, so I am not familiar with ClickFunnels very much at all. So I'm not sure why it would not show any visitors. Anybody else?
I had challenges with Facebook with their conversions. They would claim certain conversions and certain, sometimes it's not enough conversions. So I always had to rely on MailChimp or Aweber to see how many people actually signed up. But with the clicks, I never paid attention to clicks. Packages breakdown. That's for you, Stephanie. About the package breakdowns. Okay, so should I go to the next? We're okay, Stephanie, on this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think this is the last question. And then maybe we can open it for question answer if you guys are up to it. List of offers and back-end sales ideas to prevent audience burnout. Example, dinner ad, back-to-school specials, winter campaigns. So people asking if there's a list of campaigns that people can run to keep it going, similar to what we were talking in the previous one.
I know another thing that some of the chiropractors are already starting to talk to me about is allergy stuff. A lot of them seasonal allergies, and so a lot of them are really sad to say, but they're excited about the different seasons of allergies that comes in and the ideas that they have for ads at that time.
How funny is that? Sometimes things happen and somebody's happy about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anybody wants to add to this one? Not yet. Off topic, I have a friend who's an insurance adjuster. So whenever there's a tornado or anything like that, I see him excited too. I wonder what funeral homes excited about, to have the business going. I guess this is the end of the questions. I hope everybody got something out of this. I for sure did. Good confirmations and new things, and certain things I should not even try. Street 5 emails, pixel installation targeting. Oh, that's what's included.
Yeah, so that, just so that you know, I started out offering all of the chiropractors 3 different packages, and I just scaled that back because I had like this basic package, elite package, and then a pro package. And the pro package was like crazy all out stuff because I have a background. I used to work for a company called Business to Blogger. And so I know how to do webinars. I can do evergreen webinars. I can set up courses. I can do all this other stuff. So I was like offering them the world, you know, and really what it boils down to, my first chiropractor, he just looked at me, he's like, listen, the people I'm going to introduce you to will pay that pro package price for what you're offering in the basics, as long as you get the ROI that you got from me. As long as you get the leads that you got from me, they're going to pay that and they're going to be so happy about it. So just stop it with all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right. And got on the webinar, and sure enough, they were like, send me the form. Where do I sign up? You know, and I offered that pricing to them just as an introductory thing. And they have to give me a written and video testimonial as part of that price. And then that's only good through 2016. And then I plan on raising prices. But this next group of people that they're going to introduce me to, you know, I'll definitely charge more than what I was charging these first guys.
You should. You deserve it for sure. And they make plenty, so there's plenty to give.
Yeah, you know, my whole like frame mindset changed whenever I was talking to one of them, and he told me that he had just spent $12,000. Well, he spends $12,000 a month on radio ads. I mean, that just flipped my world upside down. I was like, so how many leads do I need to make before you're paying me $12,000? What if I say $10,000? How many leads do you, you know, I'm like, you know, I used to make close to that at one point in my life, a year. And you're telling me you spend that on advertising in a month? Like, that's insane. So, you know, you're so right. They've definitely got the money to spend. I know there's some chiropractors out there who aren't really making it and they're struggling and they need, you know, a place to start from. But yeah, I keep playing that song I posted earlier, you know, and because it's so hard for me to wrap my brain around that kind of money. Yeah. It still is a big, you know, game changer, just complete mind blowing thing. And so I'm still trying to change the way I think about money, change the way I think about my vision. And I've got this sign above my desk that says dream big. And it's like, I was on with Billie Jean. Yeah. And if you guys can catch him at night, whenever he goes live, it's awesome. And so I said something, I was saying goodnight to everybody and I said, dream big. And then Billie Jean chimed in. He said, well, he said, plan big. And I said, all right, I'm officially adding it to my little motto, and it's going to be dream big, plan bigger. So that's what I'm going to put a little add on to my little thing above my desk, because, you know, I know that there's stuff I'm not even dreaming of yet. You know, I can't even quite comprehend yet. So, yeah, so let's all dream big and plan bigger, because yeah, they got the money and they're so happy. As long as we're bringing the leads in, they are so happy. And that is the best part of this, because these guys are so happy. And I love working with people who are happy with what I'm doing for them. You know, I'm words of encouragement type of person, and I like to accomplish things. And so yeah, it's awesome.
Sure. You know, what I do is when I go to, I don't even talk about the budget. I mean, ad spend budget. The budget is whatever the market will request. That's the budget. I don't even mention $500 or $1,000. I just go with it, and I wait until they tell me, well, we're spending too much. Because to me, like, the more budget, the better. The way I look at it always, you know, start big, start very broad. Generate as much as possible. This is how you impress them. And then you start to narrow down. You can generate as much as possible. This is how you impress them. Target audience and everything, but generate as much as possible. This is how you impress them. But their current spend is, where do they spend? I go over every single advertising, and we'll look at numbers, we'll look at the conversions, and you can see, okay, you're spending $5,000 to $7,000 to $10,000 a month right now. give me $2,000-3,000, I can bring you much more than what you generate now. So I come from that angle. So I don't feel bad charging them more money for ad spend. Anyway, let me unmute Kip. Hi, Kip. Sorry.
Hey, no, that's
Too
cool.
long.
Stephanie, did you, when he said he spent 10 or 12 grand a month on radio, did you ask him if he could verify or if he knew how many leads that actually brought him?
No, but I am definitely going to now.
Oh, you've got to. Listen, I had a big home improvement. I live in Savannah, Georgia, small town. I had a pretty big home improvement company until the economy changed back in 08 and 09 and all the financing went away. But I was doing between, like in 06, I did 10 million in sunrooms, windows, and siding. In 08, I did around 9 million, and then the bottom dropped out. But seriously, we were spending 10 to 15% of sales on marketing. So we were spending $100,000 to $150,000 a month on marketing. Now, that industry tracks very well where the leads come from, but these guys, I promise you, the ones who are spending big money on marketing, you're just touching the tip. That's why I got involved in this. I just joined camp 5 days ago, but I know what people really spend on marketing, and I started looking at the way that we can test for a very small amount of money. We can present results, and then we can show people down to the penny how much they're paying for their clicks, how much they're paying for their leads, for their conversions. And that's things that most businesses just don't have. So you've got chiropractors and dentists and all kinds of people out there spending, I mean, you look at these glossy magazine ads, those ads are a couple grand a month. Like even in a local like there's a Savannah magazine, and it's very nice, glossy. I'm telling you, every one of those full page ads is 2 to 3 grand a month. And these people have no idea what kind of result they're getting out. They're just throwing it out and hoping it works. And we can bring them a program where we can show them exactly what they're getting for their money. And there's a lot of money to get out there, I promise you. So go back to those guys, and that's going to be one of the things that I ask everyone I go talk to. How much are you spending on marketing now? What's your best lead source? How much are they costing you per lead to acquire? So if I could bring you leads at a lower price, you'd give me more of your budget, right? Okay. Well, let's do a test and see what I can do, and then start handing some of this business to me so I can bring you more clients, because that's what I know how to do.
Man, Kip, you're going to kill it.
And I can prove to you that I'm doing it. I can prove it to you. Newspaper, television, radio, magazines, none of those people can prove shit. And you know, I used to have advertisers come to me all the time, oh, try this, it'll work. So I'd say, okay, let's try it for a month, you know, but I'm going to pay you on the results, not for the ad. I'll give you 10 or 15% of what comes in off of your ad. We'll track it. Nobody would ever do it because they couldn't prove what they were doing. We can prove exactly what we're doing, and I'll jump off my soapbox now, but that's why I'm so freaking excited about this. I'm going to be able to show people, look, this is what I'm doing for you. This is what it's costing you. And who else can do that for you, number one? And number two, even if that $12,000 worth of radio is bringing you $500 customers, that's too much to pay. Why would you pay that much? But they can't even prove that. So anyways, that's all. Thanks, guys.
Man, that's
thanks
awesome.
for everyone's input today, because I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. Kip, they also sign you up for, there's no such thing as month to month. Usually they try to sign you up for a deal, for a quarter, for 6 month or annual membership. So for sure, it's, some people install tracking, call tracking, so they can track advertisement efforts based on the where they advertise. But what Facebook gives us also ability to track what's happening with the ad before people even come to the website.
Well, and most of them aren't that sophisticated though. And that's what you really got to be aware of is you turn on the leads for somebody and all of a sudden you're getting them 3 or 4 new leads a day and they don't have a front end that knows how to handle that business. They'll tell you that the leads suck, but it's not. It's that their front end sucks. So, you know, that's where the consulting end of this comes in, is you can go in and listen to their people on the phone and see how they're handling their phone calls. I listened to one of the things that Billie Jean set out, and the guy was talking about they got 42 phone calls, and the office dropped 22 of them.
Wow.
You know, and so fortunately this guy had signed up so the calls went through a call service, so he had all of those numbers. So at least they could recontact those people. But most of these people aren't that sophisticated to do that, so you're going to have to do it for them. And the tracking on this is just what's amazing, because most small businesses, you know, you think about restaurants and they don't know where their stuff's coming from unless someone brings a coupon in.
Right.
So anyways, sorry if I talk too much.
No, it's awesome. I was going to show you guys real quick. I don't, you know, crazy video. But like this is literally sitting on my desk because I am starting to save them now, because I had this revelation of like, these are the people that are willing to spend crap tons of money on advertising, and they're coming right to my door. So these are my targets.
And those ads cost crazy. Like that glossy magazine, those ads are so expensive. And I can tell you, I tried using them in my business, and because we did track where our leads came from, that was first high leads came from. That was first high leads came from. That was first high. So we at least had a decent idea before computers came along and everything of where our stuff was coming from. But those big glossy leads came from. That was first high leads came from. That was first high walk-in bathtubs, and Safe Steps leads came from. That was first high 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 ad that they run. If they leads came from, that was first high landing pages for every single ad that they run. So they can track exactly where that money's going, because they're spending $2 million a month. But you got chiropractors, I gotta believe, that are spending 10, 15, 20 grand a month, and the money's just coming in so fast and furious, they have no idea where that marketing money's going. They're not sophisticated enough. And if we can bring them that level of sophistication, I just think it's going to open up a profit funnel for us.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
The reason I actually started this course, I'm in sales for them. I run leads, and I make somewhere between 10 and 13% commission depending on how much I sell the project for. But if I generate my own lead, they give me 20% extra for generating my own lead. In other words, I generate my own lead, I get my commission plus 20%. So I saw this Facebook advertising. They're not doing anything on Facebook. I thought to myself, if I can generate myself 5 to 10 extra leads a month and close an extra 3 or 4 deals, you know, that'll make me an extra 10 grand a month. But I've always loved marketing and helping people build companies. So now I'm actually trying to figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want to just build ads for myself and try to help myself that way, or do I actually want to go into the marketing business?
Yeah, that's a good one. See, you have the edge because you know sales. So when you generate leads, you close them yourself. You're not relying on some call center hoping that they're trained well enough to make that sale, close it.
Well,
So-
they're really well trained. They get us in the house and they give me, 30 to 40 leads a month. But so, 10 leads a week basically. But if I could run an extra 5 or 6 leads of my own and I close 50% of what I go on anyways, my leads will be better than theirs. It just could make a huge difference. Somebody typed in do both, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do both for now. But I probably know 10 chiropractors in town that I can go talk to, and my problem is I'm having a problem with the tech, how to set up the ads and Power Editor and all of that. I'm just not techie. That's what I'm having a hard time with. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
So good. I think that was the last
fun part.
Everything's good. So, all right. So what do we do? Stephanie, I hope you also had it on record.
Dylan, friend me on the page. We can talk.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing as Dylan. I was like, all right, we need to just talk. So maybe we'll have another mastermind group and talk about that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So he's the media guy. That's great. Yes, I am recording. So it'll take a little while with Zoom. It has to convert and then I have to download it and then I'll have to put it up on something like Dropbox or Vimeo so that they can download it at the office. So it might be a little bit before we get the full recording, but
It's okay, no rush. I think we have enough to digest over the weekend.
yeah, definitely.
Perfect. All right, I want to thank everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I think this was very productive and fun. And this was my first webinar.
You did a great job, man. Yep, you did a kick-ass job.
Yeah, thanks to you. Everyone participated so well. Made it easy.
Hey,
And
Stephanie.